In this video, we are going to be talking about 5 reasons why you may be having a difficult time connecting to your own intuition. My name is Catherine. I'm an energy healer, spiritual coach, and nurse practitioner. If you need personalized coaching or an energy healing from yours truly, then you can go to my website at catherineglassman.com, or you can email me at hello@catherineglassman.com. So many of us believe that we just naturally can't connect to our intuition like other people do. Of course, a lot of us have this habit of comparing ourselves to other people, and we can look at others and say that they are very spiritual, they're just so connected, and they're just so much better at this than I am, and so on and so forth. When really, there are probably just some things that are going on with your life that are making it a little bit more difficult for you to connect with your spiritual side personally. These things also apply to other people that are a little bit more naturally inclined to connect with their spiritual side. Of course, as with most things, everything is a spectrum. And so there are people out there that are born with just very heightened psychic abilities. And then there are people who are born that don't have such heightened psychic abilities. However, that doesn't mean that they're not psychic, because everyone is psychic. It is just to the degree in which they are able to cultivate those abilities. Of course, tapping into your intuition is the same thing as having psychic abilities. And so the first reason why you might be having a difficult time tapping into your intuition is that you are too distracted. If you are a human living in this third dimension density, and if you are also living within society, and you probably are if you're even watching this content, then that means you are probably bombarded with information all the time. If you have a smartphone, a TV, if you read, if you work, if you go to the grocery store, if you have bills, if you are just a human in society, you are constantly being given information that is extremely distracting. It's a little difficult to disconnect sometimes, and it's just hard to ignore a lot of the distraction, because a lot of the distraction actually feels really good. There's a lot of research to support that there are just dopamine hits every time you get on social media, because social media is so great because it takes you away from your actual life and throws you into something that is entertaining for you. So if you're not exactly satisfied with your own life, then of course you're gonna go to your phone and flip on social media. But interestingly enough, what usually happens when you're on a vacation that you're absolutely loving and that you want to be present for? You're rarely on your phone. If you're using your phone, it's usually to take pictures or to record your present moment. But for the most part, you're not in Hawaii just looking at the beautiful mountains and feeling the warm air and looking at the ocean, and then not being that satisfied with it and instead going to your phone because you're bored. Now, that might be the case if you live on Hawaii, but that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point that I'm trying to make is that if you are constantly distracting yourself, or if you are just unfocused, then that will, where attention goes, energy flows. So if you are distracting yourself with something, that is where your energy is going. It's not necessarily going intentionally to connect with your intuition. There are a lot of big corporations and marketing companies that understand this about humans, that if you can use certain colors or use certain fonts, if you use attractive people, you can get them to pay attention more to whatever it is that they're advertising versus something that is a little less attractive or a little less colorful. But of course, When it's happening, you don't even realize that it's happening. It kind of gets to a point where you're just on autopilot. How many times do you get up in the morning and instantly just grab your phone and start looking at social media or emails? How often are you just bored and just randomly go to the kitchen and open up the fridge? How often are you just looking for something to do and just flip on the TV just to have it on the background? How often does your phone have a notification go off and you instantly look at it? If you're constantly being distracted, then your attention is just going to immediately go to that one thing. But if you were to take away all of the distractions and just sit with yourself, then you would have an easier time going inward and connecting to your intuition. So I definitely find this to be true about myself, especially when it comes to music. Yes, I do love music and I like dancing and, I love it. There are a lot of songs out there that I find to be very catchy, but a lot of them I end up getting stuck in my head and I really don't like it. There are just some songs out there that I don't even think are very good, but they're just so catchy and they're designed that way. And so when I'm trying to meditate, I'll just have this one song just playing on repeat in the back of my mind, thus making it a little difficult to channel information. I remembered this being such an issue for me that I had to channel what was going on and if I was actually losing my psychic abilities. And the information that I got was that I am not losing my psychic abilities, but rather I am not focusing on actually using them because my attention is going elsewhere. So don't worry, you are still able to connect just like any other person out there. Wherever you are on the psychic spectrum, wherever you are on the intuition spectrum, you very much can connect just like everyone else. It is just a matter of you focusing on it. So the best thing to do is just to eliminate the distraction. Try to unplug from your device every once in a while. I actually can feel a huge difference when I intentionally don't reach for my phone in the mornings. Sometimes I can feel myself getting addicted to social media, so I will just remove the apps from my phone for a while, and that helps a lot. And I can actually feel a difference in my brain. Like there's just less tension, there is less stress, and I just feel a little bit more calm. So do what you can to eliminate the distractions. The second reason why you may be having a difficult time connecting to your intuition is maybe from health issues or physical pain. Now, if you don't have any health issues or pain, then congratulations, because you are definitely in the minority, whereas most of us have some sort of chronic illness that we are dealing with. I, for example, struggle with thyroid issues, and along with that has come cognitive problems, hair loss, gut issues. Hormones pretty much control everything. When you're battling health issues or physical pain or chronic pain, then it forces you to be very much in your body. It draws your attention to the issue itself. And so if you are dealing with some sort of health problem, then you are focusing on that, and connecting with your intuition becomes a little bit more difficult. Thankfully, I've gotten my thyroid under control, but if you are dealing with cancer and you're having to get chemo treatments a couple of times a week, and you're dealing with hair loss and nausea and weight loss, then it makes it really difficult to even try to meditate or try to connect with your intuition because you're just too focused on just surviving. And pain or chronic pain is a big one because it is just a physical pain that is in your body that just won't let up or won't go away. And having to deal with chronic pain can have a lot of psychological things that come with it, such as depression or anxiety, or feeling like you're not going to be able to participate in certain activities because of the pain. Now, of course, some people will want to go be physically active, like go swim in a lake or go hiking, and that's what they want to do. But even just trying to meditate and connect with your spiritual side, you can just feel a physical pain just there lurking all the time. Now, of course, it is very likely that you were contracted to have this experience. There is a reason why you are having the pain, and there's a reason why you are having the health issue. Sometimes you are being called to dig a little deeper into understanding why you are going through that. Sometimes going through that is a part of your spiritual journey. So really taking the time to connect with your body and ask what it's trying to tell you and what it needs. And just really asking your higher self and just putting it out there. What is it that you need to understand about this illness? This can help you lead down a path to either healing the issue or to coming to peace with it. But these two journeys are important to take, because if you don't, then you will become a victim to the illness or to the pain, which will then make you feel disempowered, which is a very low frequency, and that makes it very difficult for you to connect with your spiritual side if you are in a disempowered state. Because health issues and pain are not meant to disempower you. It is not meant for you to experience that just for the sake of experiencing that. There will always be a reason of why you're going through it. And so going down on the healing journey will always be very good for your intuition. And it's only just going to make you evolve on a conscious and human level. The third reason why you might be having a hard time connecting is either because of dogma or some sort of belief system. Now, if you are a part of a religion or you grew up in some sort of religion, then there is the possibility that this religion has condemned psychic abilities or intuition and has made you feel or believe that connecting with your intuition is not something that's for you because it has no connection to the organization that you are a part of. So some religions believe that if you use tools of divination, then that means that you are going to be connecting with evil spirits or entities. And so if this is something that you grew up believing, then this may hinder you from connecting with your own intuition. Because if you sit there and meditate and start to get information, you are probably going to be inclined to reject that information rather quickly, because you have been fed this belief that you are not able to connect with your intuition, which is ultimately connecting with source frequency, with the creator, right? You're not able to do that. It's only if you go through the church and if you go through their rules that you are able to get said information. But this can be true on the flip side as well. So if you don't even believe in God at all, or you don't believe in intuition or spirits or anything like that, then just having that belief as well can hinder you from connecting. I meet so many people that don't think that they have intuition. They believe that they are just a regular human and they are not psychic at all, because psychics are very special. People who connect with their intuition are very special, and it takes a lot of time and energy to be a spiritual and intuitive person. When sure, it does take time and energy, but everyone has intuition. Everyone has psychic abilities. But If you don't believe that you do, then of course your own beliefs are going to formulate your own reality. Our thoughts and beliefs actively create our reality. So the best thing to do is to stop and think, is there some sort of belief system that has been ingrained in me that makes me believe that I'm not capable of doing this? What can help is positive affirmations, such as, I am ready to tap into my intuition. Always maintain the belief that you are intuitive, that you are able to connect with God. The fourth reason why you might be having a difficult time connecting is what you are consuming. Now, this can actually be related to health, but I made this as a separate one because you may not have any health issues and you may not have any pain, but just because you are perfectly healthy and pain-free does not mean that you are not consuming things that are making it difficult for you to connect to your spiritual side. And what I mean by that is, are you consuming toxins, heavy metals, artificial foods, alcohol, drugs, artificial light, radiation, or EMFs? Because we are organic beings, we really should be consuming organic materials. However, if you are a human living in society, especially in the US, the artificial foods and the toxic foods are going to be much more readily available than the organic foods. This is very similar to being bombarded with information, except instead of information, it is actual physical materials that your body is being bombarded with. Many of these things can have a cascading effect on your physical body, but it can happen in such a subtle way that you might not necessarily feel like you have health issues, but you could be suffering without even knowing it. For example, if you're constantly inside looking at a computer screen without there being any windows or any exposure to actual sunlight, then you are likely being exposed to blue light, which is ultimately going to mess up your circadian rhythm, which is controlled by your melatonin production. And if you work until 8 or 9 p.m. on a computer and then you get off work and then you're looking at your phone and there are no blue light blockers or anything, then it tricks your brain into thinking that it's being exposed to sunlight, which then reduces the amount of melatonin production, which helps you fall asleep. Which is why you're not supposed to look at your phone right before you go to bed. It creates poor sleep hygiene, and it makes it difficult for you to not only fall asleep, but it hinders the quality of sleep that you have. And if you do not have good sleep, then that means that you are not regenerating your cells. Good sleep is one of the most important things that you need to have in order for your body to heal and to optimize itself. I know that for me personally, if I don't feel well rested, then it makes it difficult for me to channel information. And the fifth reason why you might be having a difficult time connecting to your intuition is stress. This is definitely a big one. Do you feel like you're just stressed out from all of life's problems? Do you feel like you're falling behind on bills, but then you also hate your job, but you also have to have this job in order to pay these bills because you're in debt? Are you a single parent and just trying your best to give your kids a good life, but pouring all of your resources and time and energy into keeping these little ones alive and happy and putting yourself on the back burner? Are you struggling to find your purpose and to hopefully make money in a way that you feel passionate and that you just love? Do you feel like you're just not enjoying life as much as you should you're just not having enough fun, and instead you're just on autopilot trying to survive. When you have so many stressors that are weighing down on you, I think the last thing you really want to do is to meditate and connect with your intuition. Even though that probably should be the first thing you do so that you can get information on how to combat these stressors, when you're in it, the thing that you are focusing on is just getting through it. Having stressors is like having a thorn in your side. You know it's there, you know it's bothering you, but you don't pay attention to how much it's weighing down on you because you're still focused on the stressor itself. You've got a credit card debt or some sort of debt that you are trying to pay off. And you know that you're actively working towards it and you're concentrating on that and trying your best. But even when you try to disconnect from that and try to go have fun, there's still something in the background that is kind of bothersome, and it keeps you from really living out your full potential in anything that you want to do. Maybe you want to go have a date night with your significant other and you want to leave the kids behind, but it makes it a little difficult to fully be present with your partner while you're on a date when you're a little worried about what the babysitter might be doing with the kids. And so I want to mention that stress isn't necessarily a bad thing. There is a good type of stress and a bad type of stress. Stress often can fuel a fire underneath us to get us moving into a direction or to help improve our lives in some way. However, whether the stress is good or bad, stress can still take your attention away from connecting to your intuition and just continue to pull it back to whatever it is that you're stressed about. So the best thing to do with this is to eliminate the bad stressors. Eliminate the bad ones. So like credit card debt, for example, is definitely a bad stressor. So maybe you should take some time to really focus on handling that particular stress. But when it comes to good stress, like building a business, for example, you can always prioritize putting time and energy towards that stress at a very structured place and time. And then that way, when you know that you have a structured place and time to handle your stressors, then you can also allocate time, a place, and energy towards connecting to your intuition for the sole purpose of just doing that. And of course, when you take the time to connect with your intuition, you can ask your guides, you can ask your angels, you can ask source frequency for help, for guidance on handling the rest of the things that your human life is dealing with. Yes, for some people, it comes a little bit easy and more naturally to connect with their intuition. But for the rest of us, it takes intention. It takes time, it takes energy. But it will help if you can just try to eliminate some of the things that may be blocking you from it. So if you're experiencing any of these things, do not feel alone, because you're not. Do not worry. These things can be fixed. And I have heard it all across the board, whether you are just a beginner going through your spiritual awakening and tapping into your psychic abilities, all the way to the most spiritual people out there. They will all say that they all struggle with the same things. And like I said, if you are just a monk sitting on top of a beautiful, quiet mountain, then yeah, it's going to be a little bit easier for you. But if you are like the rest of us participating in society, then it's going to be a little challenging, and that's okay. Also keep in mind that some developed societies, like the US, for example, has basically the government's out to get you, okay? Ultimately, a lot of these issues that you are battling, such as being exposed to toxins all the time, health issues, chronic pain, a lot of these are created and nurtured by bigger forces out there that are trying to keep humans, such as you and I, at a lower frequency. There is a reason why fast food is cheaper and easier to access than organic food. There is a reason why social media is created the way that it's created. There's a reason why marketing companies make so much money. It's because they want you to be distracted. They want you to be unwell. They don't want you to be an optimized human, because if you were, then that means that you would kind of be superhuman. And superhumans are a little difficult to control and manipulate. So if you're experiencing the distraction and experiencing the health issues and the exposure to heavy metals, and you're having a difficult time connecting to your intuition, it's not your fault. You just need to be aware of it and remember that you can start taking steps to eliminate those things yourself. But it's just going to take a little bit of intention. And don't worry, you're not the only one struggling with it, because there's a reason why I know some of this stuff. So good luck on connecting. You've got this. I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.